Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. I've been a little absent. I took a little short vacation, but I have been keeping up with the news in the meantime. And in my opinion, it's not looking too good for the dollar, American economy included. If you've seen any of my videos so far, you know that I've been talking a lot about the de-dollarization agenda. As more and more of these articles are starting to pop up, as the U.S. debt is rising, as Trump has once again changed tariffs sporadically, once again, basically causing more fear in the markets. I have some articles I'll talk about in this video. And while I do think it might be bad for Bitcoin, or it might be bad for the dollar, but it will be good for Bitcoin because as the dollar devaluates, people will start to look for alternatives and other options, hedges, and I think Bitcoin is a very big player in this. And I do also don't think I'm the only one who sees this. I think a lot of the big players are starting to shift more and more to using Bitcoin as a legitimate asset or an appreciating asset, I should say. All right, let's just get into this video and yeah, let's get into it. All right, so here we are. As I said, I'm not the only one that's thinking this. Could Bitcoin replace the US dollar? I think so. For a general part, it'd be a very long time before we see a total collapse of the Bitcoin itself or out of the dollar itself. But uh, as the dollar devaluates, people will want to protect their money. They will want to protect their assets because if you have a lot of savings and your savings are nominated in the dollar, if the dollar drops, you lose money instead of gaining money through interest or possibly a savings account or something like that. You will start bleeding money instead of gaining money. So uh, a lot of smarter people will not want to do that or will not want to wait that out if it recovers at all in their lifetime. So they will look at things like Bitcoin, things like gold, metals, silver, maybe real estate or I don't know, gems, chocolate, whiskey. There's literally endless possibilities to buy, but I think Bitcoin is one of the easiest approaches, and I think it's becoming more and more easy as more and more stockbrokers, ETFs, bigger players, bigger funds are starting to move into this Bitcoin. Um, and we have the matter of the $37 trillion debt, and it's going up as we speak. Like, yes, it's not 37 yet, but with Trump's new plans, his new financial plan, which is being criticized heavily by Elon Musk, who was previously a big supporter of Donald Trump. Uh, the projections are like at least two and a half trillion more, which will just cause serious issues. And the fact is that a lot of these loans are their interest terms are starting to end, so they have to refinance these loans at much higher interest, which will cause these trackers to explode with even higher numbers. So all in all, this will keep pushing that debt higher and higher and higher up to a point where yeah, where well, I won't say half, but a lot of the payments the U.S. makes, like I think it's currently every payment that every $8 that the U.S. dollar the U.S. government pays, every dollar, every $8 they pay a dollar to these interest payments. Sorry, that took a little while to get that out. But out of every $8 they pay $1 to interest payments. Under Donald Trump's new financial plans, it will shift upwards to 1 in 6 or maybe 1 in 5, which will obviously cause a heavy load on already what little taxes are being paid. And the article I read basically state, which I agree on, is uh, there should be more taxes in America, especially for the richer people, the bigger players, the bigger companies, and they're being given tax breaks left and right, even under Trump's administration. Uh, this there is no light at the end of the tunnel in this current system. Like there needs to be a serious reform. Um, And I've not seen that. I've not seen a solution. I've not heard anyone being positive about the U.S. economy, at least in the next few years. And whatever Trump is doing is going to make it a lot worse before it will eventually get better, if it does get better, because there is no guarantee. He is basically winging it on his own, and every economist is against this. So yeah, this number will keep going up, at least for the foreseeable future. And considering Trump is very unreliable with foreign trade, he's basically uniting the rest of the world against America. And this, in turn, all works to depreciate the dollar even further. And JP Morgan is now accepting Bitcoin and crypto ETFs as collateral for loans, as opposed to a US dollar. I mean, there's more reasons than one of why they're doing this, but this is also one of the reasons why they're doing this. That is an ad. The blah, blah, blah. We have the de-dollarization of Wall Street. Wall Street dumps $60 billion as the FMAS 25 and Russia act. So the FMAS 25 was a big summit of world leaders. And basically, they discussed their de-dollarization agenda even further. And it has accelerated quite a bit in 2025. Of course, this is no coincidence because Trump took office in 2025. And basically, the BRICS countries, Russia, probably some smaller countries alive with them, are all looking at challenging the dominance of the US dollar. So the more and more currency they shift from the US dollar into alternatives, the less money will go back to the US economy. So Wall Street faces historic dollar asset exodus, which is basically snowballing this entire effect that I keep talking about. And basically, the BRICS payment system reshaped global finance. Now, you can see a lot of these. It's a great deal of the world. Like, other than America and Canada, it's a great part of the world. Yes, it's also a lot of smaller countries, but imagine all these countries uniting. Like, of course, all the European countries are going to want to do trade with them as well. And if they all unite and demand payment, not in dollars, but in maybe in Bitcoin or XRP or gold or some other financial asset, it's logical to assume that the US dollar will not be in favor anymore. So US bonds will become, I won't say worthless, but worth a lot less. And Russia, of course, also accelerates de-dollarization strategy. Now, obviously, we have tariffs in place and certain trade agreements which prevent us from actively trading with Russia. Russia still trades with the BRICS countries. BRICS countries still trade on the back end. So if it's still a very large country with a very large volume, and it's still a lot of volume that's not going to dollars left or right. Like, it won't go directly, but it's not going indirectly as well. It's not a done deal yet, but it's becoming more and more apparent that this will happen. And also, Coinbase CEO says US debt will cause Bitcoin to overtake the dollar. Another reason, which I've said in the beginning of this video, that or another bit of proof, I should say, that people will start moving from holding dollars to holding Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's appreciating currently at a very heavy rate as well, and the dollar isn't that interesting. It's becoming less and less interesting to hold. De-dollarization. Warren Buffett predicts the US dollar's future. Now, if anyone is to be taken serious, I think it's Warren Buffett. I think the probabilities are. I mean, yeah, he kind of contradicts the statement, but I think the US dollar will still be here in 50 years' time, because obviously America is a very big country. But I do think the US economy and the dollar in general will need a serious correction. And I think it's been a long time coming. A lot of economists have been saying this year after year after year. Uh, but we are starting to see the cracks. I mean, the euro, as opposed to the dollar, rose over 13% in time of a month. It dropped down a little bit more. Not 100% sure what it's now at. I think it's 1.10 to 1. Not exactly sure on that, but I think it's 1.10 to 1. And I mean, that's for a financial asset like a currency market. That's insane. That's almost unheard of. It's the first time I've experienced it at such a fast rate, and it shows no signs of slowing down. Like all markets are completely upended, and I think this was a long time coming. But I think Trump's policies and Trump's well, I'm calling them policies, but Trump's statements and uh, throwing. I don't know the exact American quote, but I think the Dutch quote is roughly translated to like throwing a brick in the henhouse. Is what he's doing, and uh, countries and people are reacting accordingly. Uncertainty, fearful, screaming, uh, name it. And this is what I also quoted: like Elon Musk slams Congress for spending bill, making America bankrupt, and yeah, disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. Now, this is coming from one of Trump's biggest supporters, and I think it. As I said, I think all these messages are to be taken very seriously. Um, Upside for us as Bitcoin investors or crypto investors, or at least me as a crypto investor, I see this as a reason to buy more Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin did really well. We achieved a new all-time high. We didn't keep the level above 108. We crashed a little bit below it. We retested it, dropped back down, to this resistance or this slightly above it. I drew out two scenarios. If you followed any of my live streams, you will know what I talked about in here. But basically, we bounced off this resistance, and I think we'll be going sideways a little bit for now. Maybe we correct further down. I'll add a little bit more to my DCA position, but I think right now, with all the uncertainty in the stock markets, financial markets, I think it won't be too crazy to see Bitcoin go back past this point again, and maybe even to bigger all-time highs. Obviously, we're not 100% sure on that, but I'm positive that, as Warren Buffett says, in 50 years, the US dollar will still be a reserve. I sort of agree on that, but I think Bitcoin will be a reserve around that time as well. And 50 years, I hope in 50 years, I hope I'm still here, but I'm 100% sure it'll be worth a lot more now than it is now. So I see no reason why I should either sell my Bitcoin or why I should not try to get more of it at the best price possible. So I've placed some limit orders around this area as well as this area. And if we go back down to these levels, I'll definitely add a little bit more on as well. Now, if you feel like trading, it's 100% on you, of course. I have links to the exchanges I personally use in the description below. BitUnix amongst one of them. BTCC is also a very good one. Both, or maybe Bitfavo if you're in the SEPA zone. They do not have leverage trading though, but it's mainly spot buying. But they also have a banking license, so you can use it as an on and off ramp. That being said, BitUnix is one of my favorites. They added a new function, which is buy low, sell high. I will do a separate video about this, but this is basically a form of options trading on crypto and mainly on Bitcoin. They are rolling it out for other crypto projects, crypto coins as well. But as I said, it's basically options trading. You can put in a limit order, and if it doesn't hit the price within the set amount, you get a sort of a fee. You get rewarded a small fee for posting your USDT or BTC if you're selling. And you just get your initial return plus a little fee added on for extra. So it doesn't hit your price, no worries. You can just reset the same trade later or at a similar price or lower price if you feel like it, but you still get an extra return on your investment, basically, with money you otherwise would have either kept in Bitcoin or kept as USDT. And if it does it, also no problem. You still get the fee, but you also get your assets at that price. So it's sort of a win-win. You help out the broker, you help out yourself, and I think it's a very easy product to use. So I just wanted to point that out. If you want to use BitUnix, I have links to it in the description below. You get a few free deposit bonuses. I think they have very good deposit bonuses in the market in general. Um, Other than that, yeah, feel free to use it. If not, if you are already a client of BitUnix, you can also use it, of course. You can also feel free to do this. Yeah, and if not, feel free to join in on the live stream. If you want to join the Discord, also feel free to let me know. You can leave a comment, and I'll get back to you. And yeah, if not, have a great day, guys. I'll see you on the next one.